one warm welcome, the audience, to New Generation Woman, and I'm Janine Franzenos. I'm currently working in Brazil, 1.5 hours away from Brasilia, in the middle of nowhere. And this is why everything is a little bit more colorful in the background, including myself. So we are in the middle of a female leadership weekend, and today's topic is gender quota. So let's go right away to the experts of this roundtable, to Kirsten, to Virginia, to Tululupe, and to Ingrid. Warm and hello and welcome to the Netherlands, to Germany, to Chile, and to West Africa. Hello, guys.
Hi.
Hey, you can talk. You can talk, and you can laugh, and you can smile.
Hello.
Hello. Nice to see you guys. And I'm so excited that we have different continents and countries and understanding where is which country, how are you guys doing in your culture. And when I asked you and met you for the first time, I asked you to choose a leadership topic that is dear to your heart. Virginia and Kirsten, you chose gender quota. Kirsten, why did you choose it?
Because for me, it's really a big topic that we have so less female leaders. And I think that we have countries, especially in Europe and the northern, with Scandinavia, where they have these quotas, and they are really doing a much better job than we are doing here in Germany. And that's why I think it's necessary to have a quota.
Virginia, you took a lot of time, you guys worked in a group and you put a lot of effort into the research. What would you summarize are the 3 most important core messages from the research?
I mean, we received 155 answers from all the companies from all around the world. And mainly we can say that we are split. And I remember when you asked us about a topic that we wanted to discuss, something difficult and controversial, I think gender quota really is. And we saw it in the answers that we have like 50% female and men answering. And we asked them, are you in favor or against? And again, the answers were half and half. It's really controversial because you see a lot of comments against it and some on favor, right? Mainly what everybody agrees is that we should be promoted based on of merit and capabilities. The thing is that as women, we feel like for many years, we haven't even been considered. So that's why we think gender quotas sometimes could be beneficial.
When you said half people, half of the people you asked were favoring gender quota and half of the people were against it. So what were the key aspects of those who were against it? They said, no, it should be talent, it should be skills.
Yeah. They are saying like basically sometimes it's reverse discrimination. So whenever you are putting a quota and saying, basically you are saying that you are choosing that person just because it's a woman. And most women feel like that are against, feel like that's actually not in our favor. So they feel even worse, basically, because women sometimes feel like it's like how can I explain it? Like we doubt ourselves more than men, right? In general, sometimes we doubt more. And by having the quota and choosing a woman, then you are making that worse because she starts to, ask herself, am I being chosen because I am the right person or because I'm a woman? And that's really frustrating for us and for some women as well.
Okay, get it. And
maybe when I
yes,
jump in, because it's often the misunderstanding if you say we need a quota to also promote women, that you don't choose according to the skill set, according to the capabilities. Yeah. Most of them thought it's only due to gender, and that's not the truth. Yeah, there were a really nice example what we figured out when we had our research. You won't choose a woman for a pilot when she's not able to fly. Yeah. So this is what I think needs to change in the mindset, that you don't choose only because of gender. It's an addition that you also consider females for a leadership position.
I get that. How are the countries, West Africa and the Netherlands doing? Ingrid, I'm a Dutchie myself. I was born in Amsterdam, and some things, and still when I come to specifically to the big cities of Netherlands, there is more openness, there is more tolerance, there is more allowing, but not always. You know, it's not like it's always. How do you experience gender quota in the Netherlands and in your company?
In my company, it's we have a journey from our human researchers, and I think that's the beginning for a company to have equivalence between women and men, and it starts there. And then they make a road trip for 3, 4, 5 years to have both women leaders and men leaders. And yeah, I think it's also the culture to be open and to speak up. And yeah, that's it.
Do you, I know your former CEO, she was a woman, and what I observed, a very feminine woman also, the way how she handled it, and she was very much into the soft skills and reaching out and human connection. Did you feel a difference when she was CEO of your company?
Yes, she was familiar. And now when there is a man on top, then it's more business. And it's more about figures and facts. And
why didn't your company stay with a woman? I mean, I know that, you know, things have to change, but why didn't they again choose another woman?
Yeah, I don't know.
Ask. Ask.
Yes.
Say you had a talk show.
But we ask because we got a new CEO and a new board members. And first we had 2 women and a few men, and now we have all men and one woman.
Yes.
And now everybody is asking why is there just one woman in the board of the company? Exactly. And yeah, human researchers is also thinking now, and the headquarters also, okay, what do we have to do to go back where we came from, with more women on top?
It's very interesting. It's very interesting. I as I said, I know the CEO of your company and how she researched, but why are not there more? Is it the woman? Are there women missing? Is it the lack of women?
Yeah.
Or is it the entry, the high ceiling, or does a woman have to have certain credits that only a few can go through them? I mean, there must be something. I don't think it's a lack of women missing. I think there's something that people are not conscious about, and that the bar is so high that so little women can reach that bar, and then only a few can come in. I'm just assuming. I'm a learner here. I'm not a knower, so I'm a learner.
Yes, in the world we are 50-50, right? We are 50% women and men. But in general, we are talking here about engineering companies or in the automobile industry. And this is a well male-dominated industry. And it's something about the STEAM careers. So in the STEAM careers, we don't see a lot of women. And you said it while making some questions. There is a lack of pipeline. But even though there is a fun fact here, and Kirsten will like it for sure, in Siemens Energy, the finance department is one of where we have more female participation. Nonetheless, you don't see that there are more female leaders.
Okay,
you know?
get you.
Anyhow,
I remember
that's why there is like I think that's cultural. I think if we see it in our survey, sometimes they are saying like female or women don't want to take this responsibility. They don't want to take this management position.
Mhm.
Some of them are even saying that we need special training to get it, that we need to have more trainings or mentors. There's a lot of things.
Mhm.
Oh, okay. I think
Yes,
also
wanted to come
for
back to you.
West Africa, yes.
Mhm.
Okay, so for West Africa, I would think more like, there's that bias, that belief that women are home keepers, so to say, and that when you are in such roles, it actually impacts on your ability to take care of the family and take care of the home. So there's that belief that maybe women might not want to take up, you know, the top positions because the commitment it requires from you, the time it requires from you, you may not be able to give it as a woman, so to say. Then also, I think there is also that place of trust. Do we trust ourselves enough as women to actually occupy this role? Are women supporting other women to actually come to these top positions? Like just like what you said in my office, in my company too, our last MD. Was a woman or is a woman. She's moved to other things, but now we have a man here, and things are different. Even though we have a policy of inclusion and diversity, which in the last 2 to 4 years has brought up more women into management positions, so there's been lots of support for women, but now we have a man as a MD, though he's also trying to support women, but there are some things that were being done, like observing the International Women's Day. I think the woman being the MD uh was more open, was more homely, so to say, and open to things that has to do with women.
Mhm.
So we're not taking it as seriously as we took it when we had a female CEO now.
Mm.
So I think another area of concern is, are we as women able to support another woman to take over even when we're leaving the leadership positions? Do we
Mhm.
see them as capable enough to actually take up these roles and perform
Mhm.
as a woman, not measuring them against the men?
Yeah, absolutely. And I want to first ask a provocative question. Can I? Don't kill me when I'm asking it.
Try it.
Okay, I try. It takes a lot of, let me just go into the field of possibilities. We are definitely in the box, we are stuck, and we are definitely looking for answers and solution outside the box. Right. Okay, see, this is how I get myself, I work myself to the question, you can see already. Why do we have to choose leaders? I understand that engineering doesn't have a lot of female students, and maybe the interest is slower than going to the typical female areas, professional areas. But for me, and observing, upgrading, making a career was a lot about, okay, now I'm leading a small team. Now I'm leading more people. Now I'm leading more people. So the upgrade of getting better in your career was leading more people. And I could also say in engineering companies, and saw it, and from my own experiences, they were sometimes not interested in leading people. They were interested in developing products, but they were further in their career, and then they had more leadership responsibilities. Can we not take female leaders from other industries, because it's about leading people first and bring them then, of course, with experts together, but that she doesn't have to be an engineering background, that she doesn't have to have automotive background, that she really is passionate in her character and in her actions about leadership, and then we would have way more possibilities. Is this something that would be, Kerstin, I'm looking at you, that we could at least think further into the matter?
I think that this world is changing in this
Mhm.
regards. So I grew up in my company, to be honest. Yeah, I started there roughly 20 years ago. And in that time, it was really necessary that you are familiar with the product, that you learned everything, and that you're more or less an expert. But also here, we are changing our behaviors, and the focus is a bit different. So of course, you are able to lead people without being an expert in that field. Yeah. So I think it in the future it is not longer necessary to have this really strong engineering background when you have your expert with you and you can trust him or her and take take them mostly with you in meetings, for example, so that the leader is really a leader and is developing people.
Mhm.
Then it's also easier with a different background, of
Absolutely,
course.
absolutely. And I miss that. I miss that companies are going back to or really focusing on we need people who love leading people. We need people who are passionate about leading people and have that also as a main focus. That is what my observation is. Coming back to another question and having your experiences in that. So I observed that not few, just pretty many people, decision makers, also would choose gender quota or look for women because they have a financial bonus. They receive a financial bonus if they have more women. Um, and of course, you can say, and I sometimes also thought that, well, I don't care if they have a financial bonus, at least women get, programs and support that come together and get more momentum. And then I saw that with this decision, they decided to bring as quickly, as soon as possible, as many women to top positions. Now that irritated me, I have to say. What is your experience, Tululupe? Did you have the same experience in West Africa's gender quota, also aligned with, sometimes, I don't know how often, but with financial bonus? Is this something that you have experienced? And the pressure behind that, bringing as soon as possible, as many women as possible forward.
Okay. Well, I wouldn't say it's associated with financial bonus, but there are other incentives, because it's something that is more like an industry thing. For example, we had our first female engineer to join the engineers that work at site um, 2 years ago. That's the only female engineer that we have that goes to work at site. It's actually not associated with financial bonus, but there is that thing about the company image encouraging women because there is a general, thing out there like a policy for inclusion and diversity. And so it's more like an image, a branding thing that you have more females in your organization working as engineers. So it's actually not tied to financial bonus, but it's actually tied to promoting the image of the company. And so I think that actually has encouraged more women participation
Mm-hmm.
in leadership, even here,
Mm-hmm.
apart from other areas of the company. Just like I mentioned, 2 years, 3 years down the line, we've had more women come up to become managers, which was not the case in the past. Then also in Nigeria as a country as well, and in West Africa, not only Nigeria, because I see that similar things is happening also in Ghana. There is, more of a campaign of having more women in decision making, have more women come into leadership position, and as a result, there is encouragement to have quota for women, so that we have women also come on board. Since women don't have as much financial power, so to say, as the men, so it's assumed or it's expected that having quota dedicated to women will encourage women to come into leadership position and into decision making, which actually affects the overall development of the nation.
Well, thank you so much. Let's go to Virginia because I think she has something on her tongue that she wants to share. And I know I see you already in the background there. Yes, before I turn the same question to you, I spoke with a few CEOs on this topic. I said, what is your opinion about bringing women as soon as possible into top positions, no matter what? In quotes. And they said, no, I don't think that is really helpful because, they also need to be built in and strengthened. So even if you're talking about young women, maybe first-time leaders, and really bring them forward so that we have more visibility with women, they might have small kids. So I think just doing things as soon as possible, as fast as possible, in this case, I don't believe in it. But what is your opinion, Virginia?
Yeah, I think it can be counterproductive. Yeah, it can fire you back, of course. And Yeah, we need to be aware of our target, what we want to get in the long run, but also you don't have to destroy your organization itself. So if you do that and you change the environment, then you will have a lot of people against you. And not only men, but also women,
Yes.
because I remember years ago when I was living in Orlando, there was this conference and there was this boom of the quota and the female leaders and a few leaders come into management position. And I remember I was very upset because in my mind, it wasn't supposed to be that way. And I remember one of the leaders in the organization, a male, a vice president or of something, he told me, Virginia, why are you so upset? When men get into management position, they are not questioning themselves. They just take it. So, and in that moment was like, oh my God, yeah, mind blowing for me. And I say, yes. And from that moment on, I started not questioning women. Instead, what can I do for her to support her? And sometimes that person won't even know it. Like sometimes we are supporting women that they don't know us, but we still need to do it because it's like kind of the basis, right? It's like our CFO, Maria Ferraro. When I saw her, for me was, oh my God, amazing. And I really resonated with her and motivated me because I think that she's very familiar with me in the finance department, Italian roots, whatever. And I say, okay, maybe I'm more motivated to reach to that level. Whereas before I was very demotivated because I only see the same people getting into the same position.
Yes. And you're running open doors, first of all. And I think we also touched that, Kessin, a few weeks ago, talking about we need more female role models and we need to see. I always say we can't, or many people can be what they can see. So it motivates us, such like you talked about Maria Ferraro. I don't know her personally, but what I hear from you saying is, yeah, you are motivated, you're inspired by that. And that's what we need more. Now, I would like also to touch on something that you mentioned, Virginia. I really like that, women supporting women. And we still have a shadow on that. And there are two things I want to share, and then it would be lovely to have your experiences. One is a study. I've done this with, oh gosh, I don't know the word in English, crap, Flusskrebse. I have to just jump in German. Kerstin, do you know what
crab? It's white crab.
White crabs. They put, it's scientific studies, they put crab into a bucket and all female crabs. And all the time when one of the crab wanted to crawl out, the other female crabs would pull the crab down. So yeah, I think that speaks words. Now, when I had a client and he was in a top position and he wanted to move to go to England already for a longer time. And I was just working with him also on the way how he performed in communication. And I said, okay, why don't you call someone in the board right now and have him on loudspeakers without telling that I'm there, because it's anyway discreet. And I'm just giving you feedback on how you come across and how, you communicated together. So the conversation went like this. He called and said, yeah, let's call him Thomas. Hello, Thomas is here. I said, oh yeah, Thomas, I've been thinking about you. One of the board members responded, I've been thinking of you. Yeah, now I remember. You didn't you want to go to England? And Thomas says, yeah, I wanted to go to England. And we just make plans now with school and kids. And so, oh yeah, I know. Listen, I know you're good. You do a good job. Let me just make a few phone calls. I come back to you within the next days, but I think it's already done. And let's just talk about the specifics when you want to move. And then Thomas said, bye. And I looked at Thomas like, holy cow, yeah, that would work a little bit different. If I would think about my colleagues and dear friends that want to support me, I almost have to do a second study. I almost have to catch up with an MBA that I can prove that I'm really, really, really good for that position. So that frustrated me when I thought how easy, and this is also why I sometimes love to work with CEOs so much. It's just a very easy flow of conversation, no bullshit talk, and just works. But then I come also across women, and they start to, and I think, put walls up, but maybe they're not conscious about it. It's just the way how they learned it, how they do it, how they want to be safe, that they don't lose their face when they bring someone up into the next position. Kerstin, what is your experience in your company? And we are seniors, you know, we have seen something. And I didn't feel the female support, I have to say, unfortunately.
I think it's both. On one hand, the missing boundary conditions, I would say. So everybody of us has learned that it's necessary to prove 1, 2, 3, 4, 7 times that we are really good in our job, that we deserve this, that we are experts, that we can do it. And this is how your experience is during your growing in a company. And then you're doing it again and again and again. You never stop with it. And on the other hand, it's also, sometimes I would say, we are afraid of going out of our comfort zone because of this effect that there is not really a body feeling between women, because we are so few, and then it looks like, oh, look at her, why has she got this good position, and why don't someone thought about myself? There is more competition, I would say, of course, because we're really only few. If you look at the male managers or leaders, there are a lot of them in the company, so there is not this big competition. Yeah, you have to shine so much to be visible for a good position. Of course, also there the mind is changing. Yeah, and I think in some years we can laugh about this because it has changed, and you think back and thought, why we had so less females the last 10 years, but now it works. But yeah, it takes time, and I think this is the reason.
Yeah, I totally get that. You guys know that I'll come back to you in a sec, Virginia, and also to Ingrid. My whole passion is from competition to cooperation. That's really and I was in competitive ice dancing, and I was a dancer. So competition between women is so familiar to me, and it's such a lonely, ugly feeling, I have to say, not just for the others, but for myself. It's a very lonely feeling, and you are never enough. More is better, and you're never enough in competition. And I think that is something that is so draining, talking about burnout prevention, talking about dealing with new resources, that collaboration for me is the only answer. But that, of course, is changing the paradigm and mindset shift, and trusting and being, one of the first ones to reach out. Virginia, you wanted to say something, and Hans.
Yeah, about the female competition and everything, what I feel is like, obviously we live in a patriarchal system. I dropped the word, sorry.
Yeah, no, I wanted good. You're always touching on the points that are still on my
I had to say, where we as women have been like on the back of the train, like men started studying before us. We were not allowed to vote. We were not allowed to have houses, cars, and everything.
Yeah.
We were on the back of the train, very far away. So what men, sorry, men, for all of you watching this talk show, you taught us
few that remained.
the few that remain, because they know. They taught us that our competition are other women, because it's easier. Like, men are not our competition. But what the world is changing with this, even with the gender quotas, is that men know that we are the competition as well. Everybody capable of doing anything is the competition.
Mm-hmm. Ingrid, how do you experience women supporting women? Do you see the same in your company? Would you honestly, with your heart, your hand on your heart, say we are totally collaborative, supporting, loving each other all the time?
Yeah.
Wouldn't be nice, would it? Yes.
I saw it in my first job at the travel agency. We are all with women, and yeah, there was a lot of competition, and all the women want to be the best and don't make mistakes and don't support each other because you are the best. And it was terrible. I was going to look for other job, and I say, okay, I want to work at a company with women and males, because only with women it was it was a bad experience.
Yes.
And then I start in the automotive, and there were a lot of men, but now we are in the transition that there are more female leaders, and now it's, yeah, in our company now it's 50-50, but the diversity in our company, that's also less with other cultures and other generations. There we have to do also something.
Okay, get you. West Africa. What is West
Yes.
Africa doing in this? How are you? That's really interesting for me, because you
Yes.
guys are very family oriented. Family is really strong. I also have a hairdresser who comes from Africa. She always talks about, yeah, it's great because I get all the stories, from where she is coming, and so respect to the elders is very important. So, when
Yes.
I hear that, it sounds like you maybe have more values, or what is the real picture?
Well, yes, correct. Family values is held in high esteem in Africa, very important.
Mhm.
And as a result of that, women are expected to be more at home, so to say, even though the narrative is changing now, because a lot of women are out there because we believe we have equal capacity as the men, and we can actually lead, and we can actually be corporate people. We can actually grow our careers. We can be whatever we want to be. Even now, you have women being mechanics, which was not the case in the past. Women coming out to take up the kind of jobs that only men were found in the past. But also, I'll still go back to the issue of support. Are women really supporting women? I will say in my career, I've gotten more support from men than I have
Yes,
gotten from women.
yes,
I must confess, that's the truth.
yes.
And I also am trying to look at it. How many women am I supporting? Even though I'm trying to encourage our first female engineer as much as I can, and I'm telling her that all eyes are on her. There is a lot of expectation being the first female FSR where have been field engineer. There's lots of expectation. But am I not also putting her under pressure without, realizing it? The pressure to perform, the pressure to be better than the men that came in with
Mhm.
her. There's that unconscious bias somehow in the minds of both the male and the female gender about women, about our ability to actually perform.
Mhm.
Even in the families as well, there are certain rules that are expected to be filled by women. Women are expected to be the one to make the meals,
Mhm.
but where I grew up from, my background, somehow my brothers learned to cook before I could cook. I have two senior brothers. They were the ones making the meal because my mom worked as a nurse, so she was away a lot. And so they made the meals. And my dad was an engineer. He came home quite early most of the time. And so there's some meals my brothers couldn't make. He was supposed to make it. So I grew up thinking that all men were supposed to know how to cook because my brothers were cooking. My dad cooked. And so I was shocked. It was a rude shock when I got into the higher institution. I started seeing men who don't cook. I didn't really understand it. And so that's it. There has to be a balance. Is it only the female that should have culinary skills, should be able to cook? Is it only men that should know how to hold a screwdriver? My dad taught me how to change the fuse. When you have an adapter, uh, fuse blow up, my dad taught me as a child how to change it. So I didn't see it as anything that was for a man, so to
Mhm.
say. And so what background are we actually giving the girl child? Are we making her believe that she's equal to the men, or she's less than a man, and she has to put in more effort to be able to achieve the thing a man will achieve?
Mhm.
Also, you find out that a man and a woman that have equal qualification, who is considered for the role out of the two of them? Do
Yes.
we think, oh, the woman will still need to go on maternity leave and the rest of it, and then we give the man the preference over the woman? Even us as women, what what consideration do we give to other women? And that's why I think the gender quota really makes, a lot of sense, not for not undermining the requirement for people to have the requisite qualification to perform in the roles, but also to actually help women to be part of the decision making process in our nations and in our community. They will have the qualification because there are a lot of women that are very smart in schools. You find a lot of women that are top in the class. They are smart, but are we also giving them the enabling environment to take up the roles that can help them to flourish and be leaders in their areas
Thank you
of
so much.
endeavor?
With Tulu, you
Yeah.
always think that she has a secret script there, and she's, but Tulu has no script. You can just put Tulu somewhere on stage, and she will talk and give you a keynote out of nothing for 1 hour. And if I wouldn't stop you, you just would go for that. Maybe you need to be, you need to go on stage and have keynotes. You're just unbelievable. You just go, and
Thank you.
you think like, did she prepare it? Has she? No, she has no script. Thank you so much, and it's so interesting
She
for
should
me.
have her own TED Talk.
Thank you.
Yes,
Yes.
totally.
Thank you very much. Do you know,
Yes, no, I really
coincidentally,
mean that. You have such a strength and power to go and speak for your people and for women in your country and culture. I think you would really have a strength. I always, when I hear you, and there, Oprah did the, what was it? The South African Academy for Young Girls, for young female leaders. And she
correct.
auditioned, and I love that so much because she looked for character very strongly, for leadership skills and for academic skills. And I don't know how they're doing now, but it was such a great project. And I saw the documentary, I read in the Oprah magazine, the whole article was such a beautiful way. And I'm seeing you, and I think she would have picked you right away to be one of the representatives. So maybe you want to think about a next career to the career you're having.
No problem.
Touching on the last point, because we are getting to an end, we're always talking about the female women, and you mentioned it, Virginia, talking about the patriarchal system. Did you guys ever talk about the suppression of the feminine? I mean, historically and contemporary, we do have a suppression of the feminine that is equal in men and women. And we are very, if you talk in terms of yin and yang, we are very yang based and dominated. And let me give you a last beautiful metaphor that I love so much. Some of you know it already. The bird of humanity, according to Native American saying, had, normally the bird of humanity has 2 wings, but there was one wing that was underdeveloped. That's a female wing. And one wing is overly developed, the masculine wing. So the bird of humanity started to fly with one wing and started to fly into circles and became really self-aggressive because it couldn't move forward. And the Native American saying is that this century is about developing the feminine wing so that the bird of humanity can fly forward in a way, softer and more balanced way. And I think this is such a beautiful picture and metaphor. So did you guys ever have a conversation in your culture or company talking about what are we missing here? And what is the feminine? And what are women, not talking about skills, academic skills, about the natural feminine skills that women are closer to, that maybe women from the evolution point of view have to come forward in the picture of whole humanity. Did those discussions happen, Virginia, anybody had those open dialogues talking about what are we actually suppressing? Where is the patriarchal system worn out? Where does it need to be enhanced so that we can not go into competition, but then can we see what is lacking, what is worn out, what is draining men and women equally? So then we can look for qualities. And I think that is a discussion, to me, that's the only discussion that is really helpful, that we also, out of the box, have new perspectives for the future. Do you guys agree? Do you have something? No, you're shaking your head, Virginia?
No, I was saying that no, we haven't had that discussion in the company. I have it more outside of the company because, talking about this stuff, maybe in our IND forums that we have in Latin America, it would be very controversial. And anyhow, even though that I'm a co-chair in Diversity and Inclusion Council, I have to, keep a balance and try not to push the balance so low towards the female stuff, because I do feel afraid that if I push it too much, then the other part, it's gonna say, oh my God, there are here again the women talking about diversity. Instead, what we are doing is trying to encourage the women in Latin America to be brave, to support them, be their walk the talk, and that's it. But it's difficult to say what is missing, what do we need to do.
Okay, that's why we are having
It's
those
not enough
discussions.
conversation.
Yeah. It's just another way of, we want to look at things from different perspectives and fresh perspectives. So it's not the ultimate truth, but it definitely is another window portal that we can open. And this is why we do those talks and programs and discussions. We have to come to an end. Everybody's saying, one sentence, one quality. What would you recommend to young female professionals, leaders, women who want to become leaders, who grow into leadership positions? What would you recommend with your from experiences speaking, Kerstin, starting with you?
I think Virginia told us really good. You have to be brave. Come out of your comfort zone and don't try to fit 120 or 150% of a position. You can do it and go for it.
Yeah, super. Ingrid, your statement from the Netherlands.
Yeah, be yourself, looking forward to the future. Don't be afraid, and go for it.
Yeah, bravery comes up. Tulu from West Africa, what is your advice?
Believe in yourself, know that you can do it, you have the ability to do it, and go for it.
Yep, super. Virginia, closing the circle.
I would say that know your strength, your superpower, and make it your personal brand.
Yeah, since I know you, I love superpower. I love superpower. Since I know you, I've got 4 young girls working, young ladies working for me, and I'm always picking them on their superpower and having to reflect that. So thank you so much for bringing this into them. I really love that. And speaking up is your superpower. So that takes bravery. Thank you so much. And I like to enhance what you're saying with a statement of the African-American author and professor Maya Angelou. She said how important it is for us to recognize and celebrate our heroes and sheroes. And I think that's a beautiful statement. Closing. Thank you so much, dear ladies in Chile, West Africa, the Netherlands, and in Germany. Thank you so much, dear audience. So you heard it, bravery, superpower, and believe in yourself. And wherever you are, have a soulful, powerful, inspiring rest of your day. Bye-bye. See you soon again.